started doing coffee chat this morning again today. So,
Nice.
I got to start doing those a little bit more because I do like them. The only thing is, it's like I usually do coffee chats like first thing in the morning. And I wish I named them just like morning chats. Maybe I'll switch the name to them because like today, like I posted like, usually I don't drink coffee for like at least an hour, hour and a half upon waking up. So like most of the time I'm just chilling, drinking like my homemade electrolyte powder. So like I'm just like sitting there. I'm just like, damn, maybe I should change the name to like water chat or morning chat or something like that because most of the time, like early in the morning, like I remember like don't hate me, Gainz Nation, but most of the time, like if you saw me like do like the early coffee chats, like when I was outside letting the dogs out, most of the time in my coffee mug, I didn't even have coffee. It was just a coffee mug. I'm like the total opposite of Roman because I know Roman likes to like drink coffee like right away. I'm like the total opposite. I like kind of just drink a bunch of water first and then I have coffee.
Nice.
So
I used to do that back in the day. I remember reading an article. This must have been my junior year of college. It said, in order to ramp up your metabolism, like 75% throughout the day. It was like a ridiculous number. They said, chug at least 8 fluid ounces of water immediately upon waking.
yeah,
So I'd
yeah.
wake up and like, oh man, it was horrible. I used to like rip through those Poland Springs plastic water bottles. Sorry, Mother Earth. And I would just like suck it down as fast as I could. Like I would like put it like on my
Right by your
nightstand.
bedside.
And I like even turned the cap a little bit so it was like quicker, that I could like suck it down. Like that was the crazy stuff I'd do in college. And then like I would of course get up like ridiculously early, and the dining hall wouldn't open until like on like weekdays, like no, maybe like 6:37,
Okay.
But I'd be up at like 4:30, and then on weekends it wouldn't open until like 8:39 or something. So I'm over there like pacing around in my room, like what do I do? Like none of my buddies are up because they're all like night people, and they're probably all like hungover. And I'm like, let's do something, it's 5 in the morning. Let's party, And it's like, no, people are sleeping at that point. But yeah,
So
I
you're still,
specifically.
so you were pretty much crazy in your college days compared to now. You're still the same Roman.
Yeah, I've been this way for a long time. It's really bad. But so I would chug the water and I'd wait until I could go down the dining commons and then I'd get my coffee.
So you're pretty much like doing IF too, pretty much at that point.
I mean, it felt like it.
Well, yeah.
Jesus.
Well, you said you wake up at like 4. They wouldn't be open till like 6:30. So, and then on the weekends like 8:30. Like, dude, from 4 to 8:30, that's a 4.5 hour gap. So it's like, you were pretty much IFing it on the weekends.
It was so bad though. We had this like little like sandwich shop is the best way I know how to put it. It was kind of like a fusion of like Mexican cuisine and like modern like American traditional cuisine type situation. So they'd have like quesadillas, they'd have sandwiches. So you'd go down to Sandella's at like 10, 11, midnight, and you'd have like a sandwich before they close. And then like you'd eat again at like 6 or whatnot. So it probably was like if like it wasn't IF under like the most strictest of definitions.
Yeah, I mean that's why they said the college 15, right? Because most of the time when you're out away at college, you had most of the time what I've realized is a lot of college places like you pay for the food plan, but like when I would visit people, like you had like pretty much buffet style. So like like you could like max out on your food plan and like just go all out. So like that's why like the college 15 is true. Also plus like if you're drinking a lot of beer or alcohol, where like a lot of people like drink beer when they're in their college years and whatnot, and you're not really like focusing on your fitness as much until like after college. But that's pretty, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm kind of glad I didn't go away for college but I was already like gaining. I was like probably like 240 by the time I got to college anyway. So it's like I was a pretty big guy. So I definitely had to lose some weight like my freshman or sophomore year of college. So
I think
yeah.
I think the only reason why I didn't gain a lot of weight, I did gain a little bit of weight my I think first semester of freshman year, but it was because I was so active. Like after my freshman year, I'd run twice a day, I'd lift
Oh yeah,
and
that's
stuff like
right.
that. Like It was crazy. So I was like super, super duper crazy active. I had like 4 jobs in college. It was ridiculous. Yeah, I worked like security desk. I was a resident assistant. I was like a tutor. They call it supplemental like instruction leader. So I did that. I had
Is
like
it
internships.
so you weren't named the tutor because the name tutor was so harsh on people's emotions, so you had to be called another title?
Probably because they'd have to pay me more, to be honest with you. They're like, we're
Oh,
gonna call
so
you like an SI leader or something like that.
so instead of people getting hurt, it was just because they wanted to go against like the title, right? And like the
Yeah,
payment.
it
That's
was like a stipend.
also messed up.
It was, oh man, they like find so many ways to trick you. It's so funny when you're young because you have no concept of money, even if like you think you're good
Or
with money.
titles, concepts of titles too. Yeah.
Exactly, and like expectations of what income should be, right? Today, Gainz Nation, we're talking about what realistic expectations of your financial worth should be. It seems like we're heading that direction though. So it's like,
Financial gains.
yeah, financial gains. This is the intro episode of this is a year plus in the making,
That
Gainz
wasn't
Nation.
supposed to be said.
I was trying to describe to my honey earlier like what FTX like is or was, and like how it's like a scam and whatnot. And it's like it's so funny because like maybe to us we're like, because I don't know, we kind of bro out about this kind of thing. We're like, yeah, it's like a cryptocurrency exchange, and they stated to customers like in terms and conditions that the deposits were to be covered, and they weren't covered, and they used deposits to like cover other more risky bets, and like when like creditors came and they like call for XYZ blah blah. But it's so funny
And
like
Roman's
trying
boy
to.
Tom Brady supported it too.
Yeah, exactly. Andre Jick, meet Kevin, Graham Stephan, all scammers on YouTube. Uh.
Tom Brady being the biggest scammer of them all.
Matt Damon too. Matt Damon got
Yeah.
hit with a lawsuit for that.
Well, wait, is it Matt Damon? No, I think it's Tom Cruise. They're part of like the biggest cult of them all, Scientology.
Yeah,
Um,
it's Tom Cruise.
Dude, I always go. I know you don't listen to Joe Rogan anymore. I don't think you do, at least. They were talking about like Tom Cruise and like Scientology. They're playing like his like speeches and stuff, and like it's so weird. Like the speeches and like the awards they give out in Scientology. I'm not gonna go down
He
that rabbit hole on this podcast, but I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought it was Matt Damon's.
I did listen to the Joe. This was years ago, but the Joe Rogan podcast with Leah Remini, I think is how you say her last name. She was like um that show. Oh my goodness, it was like based in Ohio, I think. Her husband was like a postal delivery driver. I can't think. King of Queens. She was in King of Queens.
Oh,
She used to be in Scientology, and she kind of talked
really?
about like her experience like getting out. It was actually a pretty interesting podcast. This was years ago. This was
Oh, I
probably,
thought people went missing though once they started talking about it in the public.
I think she was gone out of the public for a while. She could be
That that actually
like a
used to be
groin
one
or
of my
something.
favorite shows. I'm not gonna lie. I love
Yeah,
that show.
that was a sick show.
One more thing, but we'll start Gainz Nation because I definitely want to start the podcast. If you're in the north side of Chicago, I think it's like near the Rosemont area. Go to MFK Salon. Check them out. They're a new salon in the suburbs of Chicago on the north side. Check them out. I know one of the owners are partners of that salon. They just opened and had their grand opening last weekend. So if you want your hair right, I mean, don't look at my hair because I'm pretty much bald at this point. But if you do have hair and you want to make yourself look good, go to MFK Salon. Um, that's all I wanted to say, Ro, before we
This is
start the
not a
podcast.
this is not a sponsored ad.
Yeah,
We're
they're
shouting them
definitely
out.
yeah, they're not. Well, the one of the owners just which I know one of the owners, and he just filed. He's like, I didn't even Antoine, I didn't even know you had a podcast. He's known me about like 10 plus years or 10 years. And I was like, yep, about 4 years in running, but it's okay. But Roman, what the heck are we talking about? Because I want to get the topic and I want to make sure people get some good content here.
Yeah, today is January 24th or 25th. I think it's 25th.
The
But
25th.
we're pretty well into the new year. We're heading towards that fourth week. January is flying by, and I know this is about the time of year where so I just started going back to the gym. I've been working on my dingy basement gym. I kind of have felt like the mad scientist, like Chris Duffin, because I've tried like a lot of different experiments out. Like I've used different like fabrics to create kettlebells and stuff like that, and like teach people how to like create kettlebells, and like I'm just like a mad scientist in my basement. It was time for me to finally get out and like go to a gym. So I'm at the local Planet Fitness, which I'm actually like thoroughly enjoying. Um, Absolutely mobbed like the first week I was there, and I'm definitely seeing like already that like the numbers are starting to dwindle. And
Which
one
is
of the
which is
reasons,
also which is real. I just want to jump in, which is a sad thing too,
yeah,
right?
of course, yeah.
As much as we, obviously, I mean, I think Roman and I are a different breed, but we obviously don't care as much. I know a lot of people care, but like I hate that you have to hear that you said it's dwindling down. But keep going.
But it's still solid. Like man, like especially afternoons after work, like I'm really impressed at like the number of like people in there like getting after their fitness. So if my assumption is
Kobe wanted
correct,
to say hi.
hey, hi buddy.
But keep going. Sorry, he's
um,
over here on my desk.
I think I did hear him. Yeah. If my assumption is correct, it could be for some of the following reasons that you've been like busting your gut for the last 3 weeks and you're not seeing the results that you want to see.
Yeah.
And that can be frustrating for people because I've definitely been in that situation where you're like putting in the work and you're just like not seeing like what your like expectations might be. So, this podcast, what we want to bring to you is for individuals that are in that place, but they're still trying to search for a reason to stick it out. We want to come up with some of the potential more invisible or hard to see reasons why you should keep living a healthy lifestyle, whether that's going to a gym, getting that walk in, pursuing some sort of sport activity outside of work, school, etc. Essentially trying to increase playtime. So I essentially came up with 4 different categories that Antoine and I will kind of jump back and forth. But those categories are that are somewhat social. I already gave away the first one. Somewhat invisible benefits that you're even if you're not seeing the results that you're looking for in the gym, these are benefits that may be accruing for you. So first and foremost, social benefits. So we know that as people, we're fairly tribal. So we tend to create tight knit social groups. And one of those areas that I've seen in my own personal life that can be beneficial is I can go and I can exercise with friends at the gym. So one of the things I did, even though it may not have been the most cost effective solution, is I went with the Black Card membership at Planet Fitness. And for me, that's important because every time I've gone to the gym so far, I bring either my wife or I bring my brother. And then I was talking to my buddy the other day and I was like, hey, I know you don't have a gym membership, but would you want to meet like midway and we can go to the gym? So tons and tons and tons of social benefits. Even if it's just like that passing, like hey, hi, hello type conversation, or like, oh, that's really like unique, cool. Like I never saw somebody do it that way. Like, why do you do it that way? I'm really like interested. I know I've had a lot of those types of interactions that like, you're not like, you don't become best of friends or anything like that. But it's, hey, that's, Tom that I know from the gym. He's a good dude. Like, we've hit a lift together before, whatever. I know Antoine is super social in the gym, and that's something that
To the point where your wife texts you to say, "Hey, you've been at the gym for almost 2 hours." So, again, like this is maybe why in the future maybe I will kind of do the opposite. I work out at home like 2 to 3 days a week, and then go to a gym for like 2 days. But yeah, like Roman was saying, like I couldn't even tell you how many people that I met just going to this gym since we moved back for what, just over a year. how many people I've met during that time. And also too in Arizona, I met tons of people. A lot of the times where I never even got their number, but like um, I think it's AZ Gym Rat Ron, the one guy that I always like his stuff on we like on Gainz podcast, and he's always liking our stuff, commenting our stuff. I met him actually in Arizona. He's such a nice guy, such a cool guy. He's from New York, and it's so nice to like meet people like that. And then like I never got his number, but guess what? We still follow each other, and I know he's still hitting those big lifts in Arizona while I'm back in Illinois. So I just wanted to throw that out there too as you're talking, Roman.
Yeah, I almost never go on Instagram anymore. It's just been like kind of like a personal thing that I've just kind of stepped away. I think the algorithm is like far too pernicious. Like it like wants to only send content that like it perceives. And when I say it, I mean like the algorithm that it
Oh yeah,
perceives
I
is
mean,
gonna draw you in.
long story short, I actually all like the suggested stuff, like I even put like not interested, not interested, not interested, because there's like a thing where you can actually like put like, hey, like I don't want to keep seeing this, like can you stop showing me it? And guess what? When I reload the app, kill the app, reload it, they still suggest the same stuff. And
Yeah.
then not only until you click on it and then you scroll and then they don't show you any of it, which is like weird. It's like it's kind of like the Black Mirror or like a mirror of like the stuff that you don't want to see in your like reels.
Yep.
But yes.
I was joking with my wife the other day, and I was just like, baby, baby, baby to her phone. And then she goes on Facebook, and it's just like, this person's pregnant, this person's pregnant, this person's pregnant. And she's like, man, this is really weird. I'm like, oh my God, honey, no. Like, this is like Facebook is sending you like these
Yeah.
stories from like people that are like in your network or like loosely in your network. Like, so anywho, we could probably have our own like, conspiracy like Joe Rogan-esque podcast
Conversation.
about
Yeah.
like AI and all that fun stuff. But social is like huge like somewhat invisible like benefit to the gym, right?
And then one thing I want to add to that, sorry Roman, is like say if you're new to that gym or not new to that gym, what I would suggest is to like always welcome those people to make sure they can work in to that machine or barbell or bench or dumbbells, whatever the case may be. Even if it doesn't like you kind of see if people are kind of like lurking around you, you can always go up to them, and I've always done it in the past, and I still do today. Is like hey, what's going on? Like I don't know you. I'm Antoine. Hey, nice to meet you. I see you, I've seen you kind of look over here. Did you want this like barbell? Did you want to work in? And like most of the time people just will agree or just say, hey, no, I was just like walking in the area. Like sometimes it might be the total opposite. You're just like, oh, maybe they're just like doing some like walking around after their sets just to cool down and just get it, catch a new space in the gym or whatnot. So
Yeah, true. But like that, I love that because it's like it's welcoming. You're trying to like create like an atmosphere where it's like, hey, like if you want to work in, like we can share this like equipment, we can share this space. Like that's totally cool. Especially like in the post-COVID world, post-COVID world, where like people are still like, I think like our social bubbles like ended up
yeah.
or like personal bubbles, they like ended up growing since COVID. Um, so in like many ways, like those types of interactions can help to kind of break down some of those barriers that people might have, that like psychological barriers, etc. Which leads us into our next topic of conversation, our psychological benefits. So I know personally, just the mere fact that like I've been going to a gym again, like my mood has been like that much like higher, that much better. Because for the most part, I see either like my wife, my brother, and my two dogs every single day, and that's it for humanity. So my brother and my partner, they love to pick on me because they're like, what are you doing after work? I'm like, oh, we're gonna go to the grocery store. Like, it's like Wednesday. Like, this is the fourth time this week. I'm like, yeah, this is my like time to go out and like see people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So as opposed to going to the grocery store 4 times a week and only picking up one bunch of bananas, because my golly, do we eat a lot of bananas in this household.
And they're cheap too.
No, actually, they are not cheap.
Oh,
79
really?
cents a pound in Massachusetts.
I'll have to
On the
check
Shaw's
here.
on the Shaw's app, 66 cents a pound, but they were 56 cents a pound in 2023. So man, banana suppliers, do better. It's
Hurry
so
up
funny
and
though.
work better.
With pricing stuff, I remember back in 2016, a sale on bananas was 29 cents a pound. I don't know why I remember that, but I remember that. And that was across multiple grocery chains in my area. 29 cents a pound. So
Damn.
in 8 years, it's tripled in cost.
If for 29 cents a pound, I'd probably be eating like 2 or 3 bananas a day if I can stomach it.
Yeah, usually when bananas would go on sale for like 56 cents a pound last year, I'd probably have 3 to 5 bananas a day. I'd have one for breakfast, two in my smoothie, one for lunch, and then I might have another for snack.
I love it.
Yeah, a lot of bananas. Super off topic. Sorry, Gainz Nation. Random fun fact about Roman. My poops are really nice because I eat a lot of fiber, mostly from fruit, mostly from bananas. They still are the cheapest alternative though, so that's what's so disappointing. But anywho, psychological benefits of going to the gym. So you'll find that your like mood's uplifted. You also walk with a swagger. One thing that my wife loves to point out is that she was like, people in the gym, they just have this walk. I'm like, hey babe, what does the walk look like? And she's like, but like you really do have a little bit of a swagger when you're going to the gym, and I think it's just because you're like kind of like feeling yourself, you're feeling good about yourself, so it's like that positive mood. But also like I think it can help to instill confidence in you. And another not off talk about benefit of going to the gym is the resilience and the persistence that it helps to build, especially if you're working out with somebody that has quite a bit of like workout experience, or you just have that like that drive yourself. But when you're getting towards like the end of like a hard set, for example, and your goal is I'll take this one. I know a lot of women that their goal is to get their first pull up. And I remember, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, I was just by happenstance watching this young woman doing assisted pull-ups, and she was freaking beasting it, man. She was going to it. It wasn't like anything like crazy where she's like past the failure point, but she was keeping her form nice and crisp. You could tell that like her rep to rep was like slowing down just slightly, but she was really pushing herself, and like she's trying to work. I would guess she's trying to work towards that first pull up, right? Um, so that ability to push past and say like, no, one more, I can do one more. And that's something that when my partner and I are working out together, I might see that she's slowing down to a certain pace. I want to try to like, I'm always trying to be mindful of like, hey, I want her to be able to recover. She has to be able to get to work. All this stuff. Like, I don't want to affect X, Y, Z. Blah blah blah. So I might like make a suggestion like, hey, do one more, and she'll do one more, and then she'll look at me and she'll be like, no, I got one more in me, and then she'll hit another one. So I think that like not often talked about benefit, psychological benefit to going to the gym or just leading like a healthy lifestyle is when you're pushing yourself and you're getting towards that point of fatigue, but you say to yourself, you commit to yourself, hey, I can do just one more. I think that can transfer over in the business community. I think that can transfer over in how you help and handle and work with people in like IRL in real life. I think that there's a lot of different ways that can kind of translate and benefit not only yourself but others. So kind of circling back to that social piece. But I've been rambling, buddy. Psychological benefits to the gym. Anything that I left out?
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest add on to your point about like getting that one more rep. Oftentimes, like say if you don't even record yourself, but like people are in the gym with you working out like as a workout partner, most of the time they can kind of tell like like hey Antoine, you really lifted that really fast, like go for one more. So it's like mentally or physically you might feel like oh that was kind of slow, but when like Roma was saying like his wife is like or when he was saying about his wife is like oh, that looked actually a lot easier. And then in her mind, she might be like, no, that one was like, that's it. And then you see her do another one that's two extra reps, and you're just like, you know, that could mean a lot. And especially with like the sense of like bodybuilding or even getting stronger, it gets you to that that healthy goal that you want to be at or a better body, a little bit better too when it comes to that because I think that's a good thing because when my father-in-law started working out for the first time in forever last year, like when I was working out with him, like I was gauging like his energy levels and his form and all that, and it was good enough to be like, okay, well let's do one more, let's do two more, let's do three more. It looked like you just you had so much in the tank, or you didn't have any in the tank, right? The opposite, like, hey, you push that too hard, your form was like absolutely bad, like maybe take that in a sense where it's like maybe we need to do one or two less reps. So I just wanted to add on to that, Roman. That's all.
Nice, I love it, buddy. The next one might seem like it's like pretty tied well into social, but it kind of also touches upon what I was getting at towards the end of like the psychological piece, but our cultural. I think there's some unforeseen cultural benefits, meaning the cooperation that is developed in the gym that translates out into the real world. So I can definitely take a lesson from Antoine, where I'm
Hmm.
lifting and being mindful of people that are lifting or might be like in the area, and try and bring them in. Hey, like I saw you, like look over here, like are you needing to use equipment? Like I have one more set. Would you like to work in? That kind of thing. That sense of cooperation that we can build. We can start to build that into our culture, and it can become a cultural norm where we're building in and working towards collaboration and cooperation. So that's one thing that is not often talked about, or it's one of those things that you can't necessarily always see, but it's part of like the underpinning um, gears that are churning, helping society move one step at a time. And
Well, it's
then
also it's also to the community piece. Like say, like a lot of people lift at chain gyms, but like chain gyms most of the time, right? Because like I know some people use chain gyms for like they're on vacation and they need a guest pass. Those are the easiest places. But most of the time, I'd say 90% of the people in there, or 95% of the people, are part of the community. So it helps grow the community too. It's like like, hey, we were living here for just over a year now. We're back, and now I'm able to understand the community a little bit better, understand the people that are moving into the community, understanding just like the age difference in the community. So it's like like you said, it's just like one team, one community, one collaboration. It just I put it all to one thing, is that's that community aspect of the gym. And you want to make sure your community is a lot better living for you and your family and your friends, stuff like that too. So I just wanted to add that piece for that. So
yeah, thank you for that, buddy. And then the final piece that I wrote down was biological benefits, and this was a piece that like I really wanted to kind of harp on. But there's a number of unforeseen biological benefits that we're experiencing, and this is gonna be besides the psychological benefits that you can feel like, hey, I feel better. But that these are some of like the underpinning biological benefits that you accrue by living a more healthy lifestyle. This is being active, this is going to the gym. Those are kind of things that we're talking about. So some of those biological benefits are a slower heart rate. So a slower heart rate could potentially indicate a longer life. So if your resting heart rate is closer to 80, for example, you could be at certain risks, right? Whereas your resting heart rate is sub 60, or it's around 60, for example. Of course, there's exceptions. If your resting heart rate's like in the 30, it might be a little too slow. Although I've heard some extreme examples with like super athletes that are in that
yeah.
scenario. But
When I was
we're
like
kind of,
bodybuilding, mine was like sometimes in the 40s or 50s.
yeah, wow. So
Hmm.
there's certainly extremes that are not healthy. These are just like some potential indicators. Blood pressure regulation. So like resistance exercise training in particular can assist in lowering blood pressure. Not during. During it can increase blood pressure, but afterwards it can help to regulate blood pressure. And blood pressure, different like coronary artery disease, or CAD, is one of the number one causes of death in America, in Americans every year.
Also,
So
too, if you have PPO, HMO, Healthy Advantage insurance plans, I know there's like probably other caveats and other specifics. Um, Roman might not even know this, but I got a free blood pressure kit monitor from my insurance plan. So please, like, just reach out to your company or your business that you're working with, your insurance provider, and explore those benefits. I think I just got it like 2, 3 months ago, Roman. So please forgive me if
Yeah,
I didn't tell you about it. But like,
you're fine.
there's there's these benefits that you pay a tremendous amount. Insurance is not cheap, and get yourself the free blood pressure kit if you can, right? And then just like Roman was saying, you might end up having a better blood pressure regulation when it comes to working out and being healthy, and just check it on and off throughout the day, the weeks. It's pretty easy. Just leave it, maybe make it part of your routine, and whatnot. So I just wanted to throw that out there too as well.
Absolutely, I love it, buddy. Thank you for adding that.
Did you
And
know
there's a
about
lot of
that or no?
no, I didn't. I
Look at that.
probably would stay away from like looking more into that kind of thing because Mason has I think like 2 or 3 different blood pressure monitoring like devices. So we're all hopped up with with like blood pressure.
We're all
Although
hot.
I could do a better job of monitoring it. But my brother's very funny. He'll set up his laptop when he gets up in the morning, which is usually ridiculously early, and he'll measure his blood pressure after he's been up for a certain period of time. He'll like he has a ton of data. He'll say like when he consumed caffeine, when he's measuring his blood pressure, how long he's been sitting for. He has his like diastolic, his systolic blood pressure. He has his resting heart rate. Like he has a ton of different data. But it's beneficial because for him, he's been advised at certain times. Okay, you might have high blood pressure, might have high risk, you might have risks of high blood pressure, etc. And what he's noticed is that it has gone down. So whether it's different strategies he's using, like meditating, whether it's his workout endurance, his aerobic endurance activity, his resistance exercise training, because he does come with the to the gym with me. Whether it's like an unforeseen benefit, better sleep, better diet, for example. He has seen a downward trend in his blood pressure, and it's in like the healthy range. So always a good thing. And then I know we're probably running close on time, buddy. So the last biological benefit that comes top of mind, I'm sure there's a ton more. Better blood sugar regulation with resistance exercise training, going to the gym, lifting weights, living a healthier lifestyle. Did I miss anything? Anything top of mind from a biological benefit that you can't see, but you are experiencing if you're going to the gym, lifting weights, trying to seek to live a better lifestyle, buddy?
I would say I'm not gonna. I was gonna say there's probably a ton that we're missing out on, and I know we could probably even do like parts of this and probably do a little bit, of a different like scope of things when it comes to this. But no, I think we should stop here. I think we came up with a bunch of very good points, and I know it's hard. It's like we gotta like persuade you guys to like work out or something. But no, I think even people who already work out, I think sometimes people don't like think about these things, and I think it's good for those people who are listening or watching today too, because those people might benefit from like knowing this stuff, because a lot of the times they might just think like, oh, working out is good, that's all they know. So even if you're beginner, advanced, intermediate, like I think you take a lot from this episode and kind of learn a bunch from this. So thank you, Roman. And thank you
Yeah,
guys
for
for
sure.
watching and listening. Please comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. And then we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.